I realized that I did not preface in the beginning of this vlog that this is going to be full of spoilers. Tons of spoilers. I'm going to be talking about characters. I'm going to be talking about deaths. I'm going to be talking about things that happen in these stories. So if you have not read the Assassin's Blade or the Throne of Glass series, look away. Just don't watch this for right now. But I completely forgot to warn you in the beginning of this vlog when I started reading it that spoilers be here. So just fair warning. Hey guys, it's Sarah, and today we are going to go ahead and get started on The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J Maas. This is book number 2. Technically, in the Throne of Glass series, it's the compilation of 5 novellas. These are all prequel novellas, so these are novellas that go in order and they lead up to the opening of Throne of Glass, the first book. So this is everything that's kind of happened before and caused Selena to be where she is and all that good stuff. So I'm going to start reading this. This is this next one in the reading order for the Throne of Glass read-along that I'm doing, which is happening over on a couple of other girls' channels. I'll leave them linked down below. It is Brittany and... oh gosh, Miss Sassy Cassie. There we go. It's like it rolls off your tongue. So I will leave their channels linked down below if you guys want to go and check them out, but they're doing live shows for all these books. I am behind on this read-along, so I'm trying to do a little bit of catch-up, but I know that I'm going to keep going, and I want to do spoilery reading vlogs for all of these books, so this is my second one. And for this one, since there's 5 different novellas in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read one novella, and then I'll let you know what I thought about it and kind of what happened and all that stuff. So that's kind of how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to try to do this over the course of 2 days if I can. That's kind of my goal, is to do that between today and tomorrow, read this whole book, which is together over 400 pages. But I remember the first time I read this, because this is a reread for me. The first time I read it, I think I read it over 2 days and part of a readathon maybe, and just flew through it. So I'm ready to get back into this world. I'm ready to get back to Selena, and there's characters in here that I just want to get back to. Sam being a big one. I love Sam. So, and then this also introduces characters that show up later in the Throne of Glass series, and they're in here. So it kind of gives their little bit of an origin story, I guess, if you will. But all right, we're going to get started. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read the first one, which I just had it and I can't remember the name of it now. It's called The Assassin and the Pirate Lord. Pirates, yes. And it is 74 pages long. So I'm going to read that, and then I will come back and let you know what my thoughts are. All right, so I've started on page 4, but I am still fan casting in my head as I'm reading these. And since this one is going to have some new characters, I thought I would let you know who I'm kind of picturing in my head as some of these characters, mainly just kind of the big ones, little side character. I usually don't worry about those. But in here, Arabin is a big one. And he was mentioned in Throne of Glass, but I don't think he made any appearances. Yeah, so Arabin is a big one. Arabin is the person who pretty much brought Selena up and raised her and took her in and trained her to become an assassin. And he's very, very present in these stories. So I think for him, right now I'm picturing Damian Lewis, because he's described as having auburn hair. So I was like, cool, a redhead. So that's kind of the first person that popped in my head when I was thinking about it. And then, just kind of as of right now, just the way he's talking and kind of moving, I can picture Damian Lewis doing all this stuff. So he's going to be Arabin in my head for sure. And then I'm going to read a little bit more to get more descriptions on people before I decide who is going to, who I'm going to think about for these characters. But he was kind of the first one that popped up with a description. So I'll let you know as I keep going. Okay, so we have met the Pirate Lord. His name is Rolf. L-O, let me see. R-O-L-F-E, Rolf, yeah. And, this is definitely giving me like Captain Hook vibes from Once Upon a Time, what was his name? Colin, I think his name's Colin O'Donoghue. I'm pretty positive that's his name. Oh yeah. And that makes me very happy to have him inside my head. Let's just leave that there. Hey guys, okay, it's the next day, so, but I did finish the first novella in here. It was about 70, I think it was 74 pages, something like that, and I ended up finishing it, I started it pretty strong and got about 40 pages in, and then, like, my family needed to eat dinner, kind of important, that type of stuff, and then I finished it up after the girls went to bed, so it was a little bit later last night, to be vlogging, but I did really enjoy it. So the first one was The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, and Selena and Sam. Now, Sam, I have fan cast in my head. It took me a little bit to figure out what he looked like in my head, and it just turned out to be Josh Hutcherson. So that's who I'm picturing as Sam in my head, and it just kind of like happened, and like, okay, that's Sam. All right, that works. And so Selena and Sam are sent on a mission by Arabin to go and make a deal with the Pirate Lord, who is basically the leader of this pirate, like this big group of pirates and stuff, and they do all sorts of things. And they find out that the deal that Arabin had made with him deals with slavery, and that Arabin has paid him or made a deal with him to get slaves, like human slaves. And Selena's like, oh no, not on my watch. So she and Sam devise a plan to free all the slaves, and they have to do it very covertly and very quietly, and just like they'll never know what hit him type of thing in order for it to work. So it goes through their plan and, gets like the slaves to be free. So what I'm going to do for this reread here is I'm going to actually rate each story individually, and then I'll do an average rating for the book, because I didn't do that the first time. The first time I read this, I was like 5 stars. I loved it so much. I was shaking the book at everybody. But this time I'm going to rate each one individually and see what I come up with, see if I come up with a different rating. So for The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, I would give it 4 stars. It was really good. It did take me a little bit longer to read than I would have liked, where normally, with her books, I just fly through them so quickly, and it took me a little bit longer. Even when I was sitting and reading, I was kind of, getting a little bit distracted, but that's okay. So 4 stars for the first one. And that is very much Selena's personality. She can't stand slavery. She can't stand that people are kept that way. Coming from someone who is kept as a slave herself at one point, when Throne of Glass opens up, she's in a slave camp. So very much on brand for Selena, for sure. Okay, so I'm going to read the next one right now. The next one is called The Assassin and the Healer, and it's only 37 pages. So that's pretty, like, I can do that right now, and I'm going to do that right now in one sitting. That's probably the shortest one in here. And yeah. All right, so I will be back very soon and let you know what I think of the second novella. All right, guys, we have another character here. Her name is Urine, and she's a big focal point in this story here. So the way she's being described, I'm kind of picturing her as Ryan Michelle Bath. That's kind of the vibe from her description, that like that's who popped in my head almost immediately when she was described in here. So that's who she's gonna be in my head. And then if we get any more, I don't know that we get any more, to be honest with you, in this one, because this is a very, very short story. So I think she might be like the big one. But yeah, so that's who I'm picturing in my head. All right, guys, so I finished the second one, and it was fine. It wasn't incredibly interesting. I think more than anything, it was kind of showing Selena's compassion for people, and especially her desire to help women be empowered and to take, not take any crap from men, basically. She really taught this girl who is a barmaid in a tavern and is just treated horribly by both her boss and by the patrons, who are just drunk people who think that they can just put their hands all over anybody they want. And she teaches her how to protect herself and how to physically get away from an attacker because she is attacked. So it was fine. And then at the end, Selena left her some money to get out of her situation that she's in. So yeah, it was fine. I'm going to give it like a 3 stars. I didn't think it added a ton to the overall story, but it was enjoyable to read. So the next one is The Assassin and the Desert. So Selena is on her way to go train under, I can't remember what they call him. Something about being completely silent, and I just can't remember what it is. Like, he's called the mute something. I just don't remember. But that's like her next mission, I guess, from Arabin, is that she has to go and train for like a month under this person. It's supposed to be kind of a punishment for her with the slave thing. So, she went against his wishes on that. And so she's being basically punished for that. And yeah, so this next one, though, is longer. It's over 100 pages, just over 100 pages. So it is a longer story. It'll probably take me most of the day to read it, but I would love to be able to read the whole thing today. I'm going to take a little break right now because I got to eat some lunch and do a couple things, but after that, I'll sit down and start reading again. So I'm sure I'll come back with like some more characters that I'm imagining, because there'll be more characters in this one introduced, and so I'll let you know all that. But yeah, all right. So I will let you know when I have all that figured out. Okay, guys, so I just started the next one, which is The Assassin and the Desert. And this is where Selena is going to kind of a training camp, I guess you would say, called the Silent Assassins. And they are headed up by the Mute Master. So a lot of them take vows of silence. They don't speak. Not everyone there does, though, so there's, going to be some dialogue. But Selena just met a girl named Ansel, who is described as having red hair. And for her, she's a big one in this one, so I'm remembering Ansel. I picture her as Emma Stone. That's kind of who I'm picturing in my head for this one. And she's there, and they're going to be roommates. So, yeah. But I'm already, I just sat back down. And, I'm already 15 pages in. So I think this one's going to go a little bit faster. I hope there's a little bit more action in this one from what I remember. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to keep on going. Hey guys, okay, so it's actually the next morning. But last night I did finish The Assassin and the Desert. And oh gosh, I gave that one 5 stars. It was very, very action-packed. And I really enjoyed the character of Ansel. However, she became a problem. Basically, her and Selena were friends. They were training and doing things together and going on some missions together and doing all this stuff for the Silent Assassins. And she ended up betraying her and everybody. She had her own agenda. She had a little side project happening, and she betrayed these Silent Assassins, and Selena stopped her. So very, very good. And it was, just definitely the most action-packed so far. So I really enjoyed it. And at the end, Selena could have killed her, and she didn't. She chose not to. She let her go. And I'm wondering if she's going to make an appearance back in the series. I'm not sure if she's going to yet or not. From what I remember, everything I've read, she hasn't yet, but that doesn't mean, I still have more books to read. So I'm wondering if at some point she may end up coming back as a character in the main series. So I guess we'll see. But I did really enjoy it. So now I'm about to start The Assassin and the Underworld, which is 104 pages. So I'm hoping to maybe get through that today if I can. That would be wonderful. And I will let you know how that goes, but I'm about to get started here in a second. Okay, I just started. Lysandra. Okay, Lysandra's here. I remember Lysandra in this story, and she does come back in the series. I know that for sure. Oh man, I hated her in this one though. Like when we first meet her, she is awful. She is like a member of the court, I guess, who Arabin is basically grooming her to become like this big socialite and all that stuff. And she is just the worst. Like she's just one of those incredibly entitled, backstabbing, you know, all that kind of thing. And her and Selena do not get along. She's also flirting with Sam a little bit too much for my liking because Sam and Selena need to be together. They're not yet, but they will be. Okay, so for Lysandra, I'm fan casting her. She's described as having dark hair and just being very beautiful. So I'm imagining her as Rachel Bilson. That's kind of who she is in my head. But Selena and Sam are reunited right now, which is fantastic because they haven't seen each other since, excuse me, the night that Selena basically got a big beating from Arabin for messing up his slave trade agreement, and he beat the life out of her almost, and then sent her away for 3 months. And she hasn't seen Sam since, so this is like kind of their reunion as well. So starting off good. All right, guys. So I finished The Assassin and the Underworld last night, and I really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. So that's the second one in this book that is a 5-star for me. And in this one, we really see the chemistry building between Selena and Sam, and just, you know, them becoming a lot closer. They're working together on a mission. They're both questioning Arabin's level of caring for them and their well-being, and, you know, all that. They're really questioning his motives for them. And it was really, really good. Arabin does send them on this mission, but it's not what they think it is. So you see them, you know, going through all that. And by the end, Arabin does show his true colors for them, and they end up leaving. They leave the guild, and they leave the place where they're living, because they all live together in the Assassin's Keep. And so they left that to go live on their own and try to make it on their own, basically, because he's been providing for them their entire lives, just about. So it's going to be definitely very, very different, and they've made an enemy of him now. So probably not a good enemy for them to have, but it's the right thing to do for sure. So I really, really, really liked it. And now I have one more left, so I'm going to finish it up today. And that is The Assassin and the Empire. So I have this much left here. It's 98 pages long, so it's a little bit shorter than the one I just finished. But yeah, I'm excited to read this one and finish it out. But I know how it ends, and I don't really want it. Like, oh, it's just going to break my heart all over again, because I know how this one ends. And I remember the first time I read it, it was just like, oh, why? So, but we're going to finish it up. So I will let you know when I'm finished and what my final thoughts are on that one, and then on the book as a whole. Hey guys. All right. So I finished last night. I finished The Assassin's Blade. I read The Assassin and the Empire last night. So this is really like where everything comes to a head for Selena, and you find out how she is captured and put into the Endovier salt mines, pretty much a death camp or prison, whatever, that is the opening of Throne of Glass. So you see her, you know, that whole situation and what happens, and how she gets captured, basically. And okay, so I guess I remembered some things wrong, which is why I feel I'm starting to really change my mind about rereading books, because like I forgot a lot of things that happened in here, and some things I thought happened didn't. I thought that her and Sam like consummated their relationship, but they didn't. And for some reason, I thought that was a thing. And I was kind of waiting for it to happen, and it didn't. And yeah, so I don't know. It was interesting, but I still enjoyed it. I gave the last one 4 stars. It was really just kind of, I don't know, while it was action-packed, it wasn't quite as action-packed as I was hoping or as I remembered. So it was definitely an interesting reread. So I ended up, I gave it 4 stars instead of 5. But the book overall as a whole, I took all of my star ratings, which was 4, 3, 5, 5, 4, and I divided that by 5, and it came out to like a 4.2. So I gave the book a 4 on Goodreads. So I lowered my rating, which is interesting because the first book I upped my rating, and this one I'm lowering my rating. But it makes sense, when I take the average of all the stories. So, but yeah, and it's definitely one, you see Sam die, which was super sad. Like, it broke my heart. Again, it broke my heart. I knew it was coming, but it still broke my heart. And, but I liked seeing kind of Selena in her element in here, and like how she grew up and how she became an assassin, and the things that she had to do while she was an assassin and things like that. So I really did like that. I think it's definitely something that you should read if you're reading the series, because I know these are like extra novellas and not everyone tends to read them, but I think they're pretty important, especially because there are characters in here who are introduced who show up later in the series for sure. So I think it is important for you to read if you're reading the Thorn Glass series. But yeah, all right, so that is the Assassin's Blade, and I'm excited to move on to book number 2 in the series now, which is Crown of Midnight. I'll be reading that next month and doing another reading vlog for that one as well, so be on the lookout for that. But all right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. If you guys have read the Throne of Glass series or Assassin's Blade, let me know what your thoughts are on the novellas and if you think they're important and all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.